Hey everyone, it's Random Noob. So yesterday I was kind of, inspired by Dethroner in my boys tier list. I'm even repping Envy in honor of him because he was wearing this during the tier list show. So I wanted to make my own tier list about Paladins, except I'm not gonna do players because I don't want to get anyone hurt. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings today. I saw the crap storm on Twitter. I don't want another one of those. I'm good. I'm just gonna make champ tier lists, okay? I'm going to talk about a little bit with each champion about what changed with them and how I think that'll impact the meta and stuff like that. So let's get into it. Let's start off. Let's go with Androxus. So Andro, I still think is one of the best flanks in the game, especially because the cauterize changes and CC card stuff didn't affect him at all, really. The item store probably helped him. The item store change. He'll be able to buy Wrecker and Caught now, which is a huge change for him. So I'm gonna put Andrew at like an S minus, and I think it might be a little high because he has zero range and people can get on top of him really easily. But let's start off the tier list with a bang. Let's put him S minus, just because not much changed with him really. Like Abyssal Touch got nerfed, right? Which is a huge hit to the right click build, which I'm fine with because that build was lame. No one liked playing against it at all. So yeah, let's start off with S minus. I still think Cursed Cylinder is still a pretty decent talent. He obviously got huge nerfs. You know what? Not let him say more. You know what? Let's drop him to an A plus. Let's keep him an A plus. It's like about a mid tier flank. I still think he's one of the better ones. I think Maeve caught up to him this patch. I think Evie really caught up to him this patch. If not, she was already better. But all right, let's move on to Ashe. So Ashe, she got a stun on her ult. They removed Rally here. She now has a lifesteal card. That lifesteal card might be nutty with the caught changes. I think Ashe is an S minus if I had to put her anywhere right now. Obviously, like right now, I'm just throwing people. We can move Ashe and Andro later based on, what the other tanks end up, where the other flanks end up. And we're just going in order by the name of the champion. So to make it easy, Barrick hair trigger removed. Tolkien's not gonna be happy about that. I know you're watching this, Tolkien. You're not happy, I know that, but I thought Hair Trigger was pretty good, but I kind of wish they didn't take it out because it was a change to his playstyle. Maybe, they could have took out the big shield one or something. I don't know. I liked Hair Trigger, but all he really got was Brave and Bold change for his cards. He could have a lot of HP now. Barrick with a lot of HP sounds scary, especially with the removed cauterize. Barrick. How is Barrick related to Terminus or Anara in this patch? I think Barrick's about Ashe level, I'd say. You know what? I want to move all these down a little bit because S minus is pretty good. Let's go A for Andrew and then A plus. I like this. Okay. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, let's go to full screen here. Bomb King. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear my thoughts on Bomb King. This patch with demo being removed, I personally last patch I said this a lot, but the only reason I thought BK was a viable champion was because of demolition. That's the only reason. I thought Royal Subject was completely overrated by a lot of people. I still think it is. His new cards are downright awful. Elims reduce your active cooldowns isn't terrible, but I don't see it finding a place in a deck. Reinforced case, increase your ammo count by 1. Maybe a 1 of. Not really good. Overall, I'd say he took a pretty huge nerf, and I already thought he was a pretty weak champion in general the rest of the field. So I'm going to put Bomb King at an A minus. And I think a lot of people might take that the wrong way. But, again, this is a prediction for 2.01, guys. This isn't like me practicing on the patch for months and then it's like HRX patch. I know exactly what every champion's at. This is a prediction, guys. We're throwing stuff out there. We're seeing what we think and challenging ourselves to predict the meta and ranked and competitive. That's what we're doing. So I think BK is actually a pretty weak champion. The cauterize changes and CC card changes definitely help him because he had a lot of CC in his kit, right? But just his lack of range and lack of mobility compared to like Dredge. Dredge can jump 3 times accelerant range recently now, and BK has the worst poppy bomb, worst mobility in the game. He's bad, guys. Let's get off the BK hype train, all right? Book. Bucking Madness removed. Bounce House now knocks enemies straight up. That's a huge change. Bounce House knocking enemies straight up is a big change for Buck. I think that's a huge buff. Because knocking people away from your damage is kind of meh. It's kind of meh. So Buck, although he got buffed and changed positively because of caught changes and his healing is a lot better, obviously, I still think he's pretty weak. I'd put him on about BK level. I don't think he's a great flank. Comparison to Andrew, he's probably caught up a little bit. Like last patch, I might have put him at a B or C. But I think, yeah, he's probably 1 tier with an Andrew now. And I might change these later in the video. We don't know yet because we're just starting the tier list. Like SS is going to be like what? Dredge maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as we go through. So moving on to Cassie. She got a health reduction. And Just Breathe is removed, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. What else should you get changed? Kinetics is obviously gone. Tumble, increase your health by 50-50. So she can actually get more HP with a new card, which is pretty strong. I'd say Cassie was already a really, really good champion. And all things considered, she really didn't get nerfed much at all. No damage nerf, health buff potentially because you can use 5 of those points from kinetics and you can put them into her health card. So I'm going to put Cassie at an S tier damage. I think she's definitely one of the best damages in the game right now. If not, the best. So we're gonna throw her up there in the S category. All right, Dredge. Dredge was honestly my favorite change of the new patch. I think it's definitely needs to get toned down a little bit because I don't know if you guys saw my Dredge video. The jumps he can do are pretty nuts, and that was just one map. Like I got other maps in store for you guys to show you some cool stuff you can do. But for me, Dredge right now is an SS level damage. He is nuts. He's going to be insane. And his damage isn't like necessarily like really easy to hit for good players. Like, yeah, obviously you're spamming, but like good players will run away from where if you're just spamming one angle. But that mobility change, like what you can do, things you can set up your team with the freebooter being in the kit now is just nutty, dude. Man, they're gonna need to tone him down a little bit. I don't know what though, because his ult's trash, so it kind of makes him even. But I don't know how to fix Dredge. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's broken. I think next patch in competitive, he's a permaban. 100%. 100% permaban. 100% permaban. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time on every character. We want to hit every character and touch a little bit what changed on the patch and how they're going to affect the meta. But I don't want to stick on too much because this video can get way too long. And I want to stick around 25-30 minutes, So easy, digestible content, you feel? Okay, so Drogo's. My boy. My boy Drogue. Drogitos, as my boy Danny would say. He got a huge health reduction. 2,400 to 22. Rain of Terror removed. Wormjet's now empowers your boosters' flight qualities, which is pretty dope. I like the Wormjet change. I like it. I think it's interesting. It changes his playstyle, which is what we want out of talents, right? Apex Spreader gained 50 health, so basically you put 5 more points in, and you get back to what your health used to be, and Drogo's was already pretty weak. Increased Salvo's explosion radius. That was in his kit. Now you have to use cards for it. That's weak. Increase the size of your fire spit. That could be used in a Fusillade build, but right now I'm not seeing it. I still think, Combustible is probably his best talent, even without Follow the Scent, reducing healing. Right now, for me, Drogo's is about a BK Buck level player or champion. I don't think he's very good. I think he's very easily dove, too easily taken advantage of, where he doesn't really bring anything that, Dredge doesn't, or or Cassie doesn't with consistent damage. He's just. Can I put him in an A? All right, we'll put him at an A. Fine, but he could easily be an A minus. Like, we'll see how it goes throughout the patch, but I think based on how the meta's looking, it's probably going to be very dive heavy. Kill the healers, kill the things that are healing a bunch, and I don't think Drogoz really fits well into that. I think he gets dove pretty easily. Eevee, my favorite champion in the game. I love this girl. She's so awesome. I think Eevee is an unbelievable champion when played correctly. Obviously, this is a pro level tier list and like very high ranked Grandmaster, Masters level tier list for Paladins. So we're gonna, associate Eevee with the highest level of plays, and we're gonna put her, boom, SS. Why do you say SS, random noob? Why is Eevee so good? Well, she's the only flank that can live on her own. She's got a ton of sustain, especially now without early caught. She's gonna have, what is 750, 3%, 75, 675 healing on the first midpoint every blink. That's a ton. That's one Cassie shot. That's a ton. And also, I want to touch on the Frigid Field card. I know I touched on it in my last video, but Frigid Field is not good. Maybe a 2 of. I'm not even running it in my Eevee decks. I still think Eevee's nuts. She's insane this patch. Play Eevee. Fernando got a lot of changes. Dragonfire Lance removed. Thank you. I hate that card. That card was so dumb. Scorch no longer deals damage. Scorch subscripts. That's huge change. Scorch changes are nuts. Along with Hot Pursuit change. His fireball projectile speed increased instead of giving him a bunch of movement speed. That's about it, really. I guess there's a heal card on Fireball, which is like whatever. I don't think people will really run that. Overall, I think Nando got a huge nerf this patch. Huge nerf. Removing Brand. Pretty big deal. It helps in late game because, he has Cauterize 3, but his range on that is so small. I still think Nando's going to be pretty solid. I still think he's probably, better than the other tanks. You know what? Now I'm thinking about this. I think Ashe is an S minus. I think we put her in the right spot. I think Nando is an A plus. Compared to Nando, Ashe is a little bit better, and I'd rather have Ashe, I think. But Nando, his ult is still so strong. It's really strong, keeping your whole team alive, especially in a death balling meta, which is what people are kind of assuming is going to happen. A little death ball dive type thing. So I think Fernando fits pretty well in that. I think he's about a Barrack level, not quite Ashe, but he's pretty solid. Furia, I know a lot. A fan favorite, Furia. Her changes, she got Celerity removed, which is fine. No one really ran that. Hallowed Sight, Fire Siphon. Okay, I really don't know much about Furia's changes, to be honest. They're not really like jumping out to me when I'm looking at them. Let's just place her where we think she is as a healer. I think she's pretty solid. I think she's definitely an okay healer. I'd probably put her at A+, above average, I'd say, but not, top tier. So remember guys, when we're looking at this tier list, A is about, average character, like solid, playable, not good, not great, and then you move from there, right? Like players above average, S minus. When you're S, you're like 100% pick ban, in my opinion. Like you're in every game possible. These characters, I don't think are in those. Barrack's not in every game. Fernando's not in every game. Furia's not in every game. All these aren't. I think pretty good. We're good right now. I think we're good with where we're at with our relative ratings. Glock. Another fan favorite a little bit. I think a lot of people like Grok. Wraith got removed. It's a good change. Spirit's Domain healing done to allies increased. Pretty decent change. I think Grok got some good changes. Totemic War got nerfed. Kind of bring his 2 healing talents into line. I think Grok with his alt change is actually a pretty good champion. I don't think he's like insane. I think he's probably like Androxus, Drogoz level a little bit. Like, yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think if I should throw Andro or Drogue up one. But I think it's good. I think Grok, Drogue, and Andrew are all about the same level. They're pretty good damages. They're not insane. They can fill out a team comp pretty okay, but they're not going to carry a game no matter what. Like, Grok's new ult really put him into, contention for being a good champion. Without that new ult, I'd put him at like a C. Not even kidding. Not even joking. All right, Grover. Blossom range, removing efflorescence, it's a huge buff in my opinion. Now you can take, Blossom healing or whatever the other legendary is called, which will give him even more healing. Any card changes. He has a health shield now. Like, kind of like Dredge's card, where when you get below 50% HP, it grants you a shield. Pretty solid. I don't know if people will run it, but because Grover has a ton of really good cards, but interesting. I think Grover's probably a better healer than Furia, especially if it's going to be like a Death Ball meta, so I'm going to put him at an S-. Inara. I think this character, I'm gonna put her in an S, but let me talk about her first. I think she got the biggest buffs in this last patch. The fact that no one else has index CC while she still has Mother's Grace is a huge buff. Another thing is, early COTS really, helped you kill an Inara early game, which no longer exists. So Inara's just gonna be like almost unkillable early game. You're gonna have to have like one-shot abilities like a Pip or a Drogo's or something. And her CC just got a huge buff. Her ult is just insane now. Insane. Absolutely nuts. Inara is probably the best tank in the game. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm saying that, S+. Inara is absolutely nutty. Compared to Barrack and Terminus, nuts. Yenos. I know a lot of people like Yenos too. Astromark now heal for an extra 5% of healing. Celestial Touch gone. That's a big change. That's a huge buff to Genos in my opinion. 5% isn't a ton, but it like that extra healing for Luminary will definitely put maybe bring in some triple DPS comps. I don't know. Maybe Genos. I don't think Genos will be a double tank healer really. So that like thinking about it, double tank is probably still gonna be meta. It like even when Fnatic was on top and they were playing triple deeps. Like, let's be real. Double tank was still meta. Let's be real. So, for me, triple DPS is probably still meh. So, I'm going to put Genos at a B. I think he's a pretty weak healer, even with the Celestial Touch added. Khan, a very controversial character in this game. His ult got changed. The change really, in my opinion, didn't do much. I think he's still going to be nuts. I think he's a great tank. I think he's still top tier. I think he's in an R level. Like, without firing line, yes. Or was that firing line the one with the CC? I think it was. Let me look real quick. Yeah, firing line was removed. I still think with that, the damage buff on Overpower, the rest of his kit's still nuts. I think he's a great champion. I think I'd put him on an R level. Kinessa. I think snipers are kind of meh in the game right now. I don't think they're very good. I think they're viable. I think definitely, I'm going to put Strix in there right away. Let's just throw Strix in there. I think snipers together, they didn't get much changes. Like, obviously Strix, it's got a buff compared to Kinessa, right? But I don't think he's nuts. I think he's an okay champion. I think they're playable around Buck BK. Like, you're playable, but you're not going to pick them every time. I'd put snipers around there. Koga got some interesting changes with his health card. Dragonfang's health consumption per second reduced 200 to 150. I think that's a huge buff. You can run him with Genos maybe, and pretty much stay in Dragonfang form at all times. Really? And wow, he got a lot of changes. Yeah, they reduced the damage, increased some damage on Hellkite Claws. Submachine gun is only 60 ammo. Time in and out of Dragon Stance reduced by 15%. Yeah, a lot of changes. I still think Koga's pretty meh. I don't think he's insane. I think he's okay. I think he's about an A-. Playable, but on most maps, probably not that good. Lex. Lex no longer slows hit enemies. Law no destroys enemy shields. Interesting. The Law 1 removed. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Basically, Lex is a C. He's garbage. Nothing changed. Lex is a trash character. Take him out of the game. Or change him. I like slower attack speed. I don't like when you... You know? Change his attack speed a little bit higher. Maybe make him a little bit more fun. Leon. Death and taxes removed. Big change, obviously. Precision. New hitting consecutive shots on abilities increases your heirloom rifle damage against those targets by 2% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 16%. That change is nutty. I think precision is going to be really good. Do I think Leon's insane? I think she's not. I wouldn't say insane, but I think she's definitely a viable damage champion alongside Cassie. I don't know if she's exactly Cassie's level, but I'd say she's pretty close, and I'd put her in S-. I think if you're going to pick a damage champion, if Cassie's banned, Leon's easily your next bet. She fits a pretty similar role, and I think she's solid. I don't know exactly how good that legendary is yet, but I think it's definitely really good. I'm not about to say it's OP yet because I don't know about that, but we'll see. I haven't been able to test everything yet on the new patch because there's quite a few changes, obviously. So, we're guessing on a lot of this stuff, but it'll be interesting to look back in like 2 months and be like, let's see where I put everything, let's change it. I'm probably make a video down the road, Look at what we thought. All right, Maeve. 9 lives now, also heals for 400, which is a huge change. Artful Dodger removed. Whatever. Cap Regular is now the default talent. Yada yada. None of the other stuff matters. Maeve. I think Maeve. I'm not ready to put her. Wow, it's just look at this tier list. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Damages all towards the bottom. Tanks, solid characters but not OP. And then some broken stuff. It's interesting. Like, damages are only good unless they're broken. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end. Maeve, I'm going to put her today, though. Makoa, I kind of want to get through these last ones pretty fast because we're kind of going long here. I didn't want to make it any longer than 30 minutes. Makoa didn't really have many changes. Davy Jones locker removed. Yada yada yada. He's still 100% pick ban. He's gonna be S+. He's gonna be nuts. Don't have to talk much about him. Meldamba, Rapid Gourd removed. Pungent Gourd is probably bad. Healing when activating Gourd isn't very good, and then Lifesteal is not very good. So his changes didn't really change much. I think Meldamba is probably the best healer in the game, considering Resilience is now no longer in Dex. You'll have to buy it. So I'd put Meldamba at S+. I think there's arguments to put him SS for sure, but S+, I think is pretty good spot. Definitely the best healer in the game, in my opinion. Ying's doesn't bring nearly as much to the game. Moji, Yummy removed, Will the Wisp, yada yada yada. Crap. Moji, you're doo-doo. You're going to a C. Pip, another one of my favorite champions in the game. Mischief removed. That's great. That was my only legendary I didn't think should be in the game because it's just dumb. Doesn't do anything. It just reduces your cooldowns. Like, damage-wise, did nothing. It didn't really make your champion better. I think Pip got a huge buff this patch. I'm not ready to say he's, S tier. I think he's better than these damages. I think we can easily put him in A+. He's pretty much mid-tier. I think a lot of things counter him. Like, I wouldn't want to run into an Andro or a Maeve, right? Or a Strix. Or a Koga. But he can hold his own against tanks. With Moxie, he's going to be a really strong champion, especially with reduced COD early game. Ruckus, another great champion. He did not have early deck. All these champions that didn't have early CODs are obviously going to go up a little bit. They didn't get nerfed inherently. They already had the same amount of COD as last patch as they will this patch, right? So that makes me think Ruckus will probably be a little better, even though he didn't get really many changes. I'm gonna put Ruckus above Ashe, but below the S+2 tanks. Like, I don't think he's as good as an Arcana Koa, but I still think he's a really strong tank. Saris, she had Void Abides in her kit now, which is pretty nuts. Pretty much that's her only change that I'm seeing. I don't think it really makes her a nuts healer or anything. I think it makes her better. Is she Furia? She's probably Furia level, I'd say. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for her. She's not nuts. She's playable, right? Shaolin got huge buffs this patch, in my opinion. Just the fact, not the fact that necessarily his changes made him that much better, if at all. I don't even know. Yeah, like, I mean, I guess there's a new card that reduces Impaler's arrows cooldown, and one that reduces it when you hit someone with it. Oh no, that reduces. Wait, sorry. Successful hits with Impaler arrow reduce the cooldown of planted. Okay, yeah, his changes aren't even that good, but the fact is, now he can buy Wrecker and Cauterize, which is a huge buff to him. I think he's better than the other damages. I think he's a very, very solid backline DPS. I'd say he's pretty similar to Leon, where if Cassie's manned, Leon and Sha are pretty good alternatives to that, and they'll work pretty good in that comp. So I'd put Sha as an S-. I think he's better than Pip. I think he's better than these other damages. And yeah, I think S- is good. Sky had quite a few changes in this patch. The Smoke and Dagger change obviously is pretty huge. Now that it heals for allies for 400 health every second, which also refreshes your healing vapors and your dissipate, I think it is, which is movement speed. Healing vapors is health. Sky, with a lot of her changes, I'm still not ready to put her at like a good damage. I think she's probably weaker than all these other ones. I haven't tested her out. Like, full disclosure, I haven't tested her out a ton. But the healing was pretty nuts, actually. I was really surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that much. Self-healing was pretty nuts. Movement speed was nice, but she's too squishy. Like, she'll just get blown up. She's like an EV with no mobility, right? Like, that's not that good. Talus, I'd say Talus is pretty meh. He's probably on the line of the rest of the damages. Just pretty weak in general. His new lifesteal card, what does it do? Let me see here. Wait, does he not have a new lifesteal card? Oh no. Okay, radiant damage removed. Oh, I guess people are just running the lifesteal card now that Antediluvian's gone, with increase the duration of overcharge. I don't think it's that nuts, to be honest. In pro play, I think Talus will just get blown up. I don't think he's gonna find much of a spot there. Terminus, he's a very controversial champion this patch with his new change to his power siphon, now having a 3-second cooldown. My opinion on that is a great change, because siphon is just not fun to play against at all. It doesn't feel good for Terminus to go all game. Never hit him. Never can hit him. Ever. And if you can, he's around the wall letting his shit charge. I don't know. I'm just not... I'm a huge fan of nerfing Term Siphon, so I'm pretty okay with him doing that. All things considered, I don't think he's going to be that much worse. He had some card changes. Successful hits with Calamity Rest. Grant Power Siphon Energy. It's okay. The rest of the cards hitting it with Max Axe are pretty bad in my opinion. Gain movement speed per Calamity Charge, pretty meh, because you can only get like 5% based on the numbers here. Overall, I think Terminus is probably still a pretty decent tank. I don't think he's nuts, because he's obviously a melee champion in a raged game. So we're going to put him probably weaker than the rest of the tanks. I'd say he's either an A or an A- tank, just because of his melee. Like, if he had Siphon and he was ranged, he would be S, even with the cooldown nerf. Like, the cooldown nerf just brings him in line to where he should be, and I think he's a pretty balanced champion where he's at, to be honest. In terms of the point tanks, I'd rather have Barrack or Nar, obviously. Torvald this patch, initially, you know, with the item store changes, it makes Torvald kind of look a little meh, because every single champion on the other team can buy Wrecker. With how much of a problem, you know, if everyone has Wrecker 1 or Wrecker 2, shields aren't going to do that much, especially with their Cauterize. That's a huge nerf to Torv. I think he's a pretty okay tank. I think if I had to put him somewhere, I'd put him a little better than Term. About Fernando Barrack level, I'd say. I don't think he's really nuts, depending on the comp. And I mean, he could be nuts for sure. But first glance, I don't think he really is. Tyra. She now has 15% lifesteal. They launched her as 3 charges that look kind of meh from playing around with it. I think she's still a pretty bad champion. I'd probably put her around sky level. She's pretty niche. If you want to have a reveal or something, she's good. But besides that, not a great champion. Victor. Victor in this patch. Firefight got removed, which I'm sad about because that was my favorite talent. He now has a lifesteal card while in Iron Sights, which works pretty good with most of his talents. I guess now that Firefight's removed all of them. Cardio is now the default. Why didn't you just take cardio out for real? But whatever. This isn't a balance change video. Victor, I think he's a pretty okay damage. He's probably BK level, you know, along the A- damages. Okay, maybe play. Like, every champion in Paladins, like, only unplayable champions, in my opinion, are Lex and Moji. Anything below. So let's put those at D, actually. Like, that's unplayable for me. Everything else is playable. Like, maybe in a niche scenario, but they're playable. And I think Victor sits that pretty well. You know, if there's a sniper in the game, he's just going to get farmed. But if there's no sniper and there's no flank like an Eevee, maybe he's nuts. I don't know. All right, Vivian. Let's see what Vivian changes. Saparound's removed, obviously. She now has a lifesteal card. Basically, Vivian's doo-doo, right? Like, she's doo-doo. She might be not Moji or Lex level, but she's doo-doo. Don't pick her. Do not pick Vivian, please. Just do not pick Vivian. All right, Willow. Scorched Earth removed. Pixie Dust. Heal increase. Nectar heal increase. Okay, those cards were both terrible already, and they're not good now. The buffs aren't enough. However, I still think Willow's a very good damage. Top tier, maybe not Cassie, Eevee level, or Dredge level, but definitely really good. Now the fact that she has one of the only early costs in the game, if not, well, I think Tyra has one, but hers isn't good. So the only good early caught in the game alone makes her very, very good damage. I'd put her S level alongside Cassie. I think she's definitely one of the best damages in the game. She's a little weak to dive, but the fact that you can just remove healing is nuts. Just absolutely nuts. And we got 2 more champions left. Ying, another fan favorite. Lifelike got removed, which is fine. Brittle cooldown reduction reduced, which is fine too. It means her heal cooldown's a little longer with Shatter, but not too bad. I still think Ying's one of the best healers. She's definitely better than Furia or Saris. A little worse than Maldamba. Probably a lot worse than Damba, actually, now that the CC card got changed. So I'm going to put her at S-. She's definitely the second best healer in the game, though, currently. And our last champion, Xin. Xin. Where are we going to put you? Let's look what you got changed first. Retaliation got removed. Perfect block heals bad because retaliation's gone. Counter. Oh, she had the new counter change. That's right. That's a pretty decent buff, really. I think counter was already getting enough value without it, but obviously this makes it a lot easier to get value out of. I still think Xin is a pretty good flank. I think he's probably better than Maeve. Definitely not Eevee level. He's a good substitute to a flank for Eevee, but really, I want to put him here at A+. Even though I'm really thinking he should go lower. I really think he should, but yeah, that's it. That's our tier list. We're gonna talk about it a little bit here. We'll close out the video. Basically, what I have to say is damages right now in 2.01 seem pretty weak. I don't think it's to the point where triple tank is meta, because, you know, Wreckers and Cauterize really, really, really destroy that. Plus, Dredge and, you know, Willow are champions, which really hurt triple tank. I think right now damages really need a buff. Just looking at 2.01 and looking at the changes recently, I think tanks are a little strong. Maybe just nerf tank damage. Maybe that'll bring damages in a line, or buff damages across the board in HP, but my prediction is that damages will be pretty weak. I don't think it'll be a triple tank meta, though. But in general, I think drafting tanks early, strong tanks, and, you know, taking those strong tanks from the other team is probably a more viable strategy in ranked and competitive. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my tier list, and we'll see you next time for the next video. Later.